Peepers, I'm Fable, and welcome to my channel. And I am so excited to have you all here for this project. Since this is the first time I'm using a program like this for my videos, I'm just making a simple drake for this first round. But let's get started! I always like to start off with the eyes. Since the eyes are always the window to the soul, I figured I would spend extra time making the eyes so that they sparkle and they have that nice follow you effect, if you know what I mean. Sparkly. And the follow you effect is really nice in these eyes. I really like how they turned out. Plus you can't go wrong with that nice blue sparkle in them. And now we move on to the head. I always have a fun time making the shape of the head out of tin foil to start with before covering it in clay. It helps keep the head light so when it's on its armature it doesn't flop over. With the basics in place, you can really see the follow you effect that the eyes have. After adding the details like horns and lips and nostril flares, I move on to baking the clay, then painting. For this guy, I went for a black color, since he's supposed to be the guardian of storms. So I wanted him to look more like he's giving charge to the storm. And even here, I'm adding little lightning around his eyes, as well as decorative little dots, which are always so fascinating to put on. And cleaning up the eyes so that they have a nice glossy finish to them. And we have a dragon head. I really like how the little details turned out. Then again, those are probably my favorite parts to add. We move on to the body. Using the same template I would use to cut out the body for the fabric, I measure out the armature for the spine and eyeball where the legs are going to go. Then after some twisting with some little wires, I have the legs in place. And once that's complete, I add the quilt batting to flesh out the body just a little bit, so that I don't have to use so much cotton to fill up the body. And then it's on to the body itself. For me, this is probably the more tedious part of the project, seeing as I have to cut out each piece after carefully tracing around the pattern, as well as switching between different materials for different pieces of the dragon, like the belly scales that I'm pulling out here. I always like having dragons with belly scales. It adds a very unique detail to it. Then it's on to the sewing. Thankfully this part's pretty easy, and we have a very good sewing machine. most zen part of the project, putting him together. After adding a little scent to his spine for another added detail, I started sewing in the mane and carefully stuffing him as I go. As you can see with this time lapse, it took me a while. Last but not least, adding the feet and batting up the legs. I mostly use the same technique I did with the body, just wrapping it up with quilt batting before sewing up the skin of the body for the legs. The legs, I first stitch in where the armpits are, then I wrap it around the batting and sew up the muscle. Careful to stitch where the muscle is going to be. Then as a final touch, I add the feathers. They usually match the mane, unless I'm feeling a little extra and make them different colors. But with this, he is complete. I present to you all Tempest, Guardian of Storms. As storms come and storms go, I stand where the four winds blow. Join me in the sky, my keeper, and I'll show you a real show. Turned out. He is so pretty. I'm so glad you all could join me for this project, and I'm so excited to do more in the future. If you guys want to support my art more, you can become a patron through the link below. Or you can like and subscribe to be alerted for more drakes. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!